U.S. Army, the years I served, 48 to 52. One of the reasons I listed also was while I was taking tests in Philadelphia, there were two, a lieutenant colonel and a major looked at my marks and a couple of others and asked me if I would like to go to cryptography school after basic. Well, that was in Fort Monmouth, New Jersey. And I said, yeah, absolutely, I would like to do that. So I went to basic. We went from basic right through to the end of December, and I hope this is what you're after. We got out to Fort Lewis, Washington, went out on January 1st, New Year, by train, arrived in a blinding snowstorm. We set up in a barracks in Fort Lewis, which is right outside of Tacoma, Washington. And after I got there, they had everybody assembled. I was in a signal company which was part of a battalion, a short battle battalion. And so it was a signal company which our responsibility was to provide telephone, cable, linemen, do all that sort of thing to provide, and then also to do cryptography work. Unfortunately, everybody from my group, and most everybody in the group, was from this Philadelphia area. And because none of us had ever been out that far west. So all the individuals started going to school. When it came down to myself and three other fellows, well, gentlemen, we've lost your records. We're going to have to, and I hope this is what you're looking for. Yeah. Gentlemen, you're going to have to wait a bit till we find out some work for you. I guess we stood around for 2 weeks. We did nothing. That's for the four of us. They came back and they said, who can type? Well, I had gone to typing school. Okay, we're going to put you to work down in the message center, down at the main area of Fort Lewis, Washington. So I went to work down at the message center because I had a typing skill. And so I learned to, I learned to use computers. We didn't have computers. We had electronic typewriters. And I learned to do the scheduling, to send messages out, to receive messages, to translate messages, do all that sort of thing as in military base. So by doing that, of course, I got lived in a barracks by myself. I had 8 hours on, 8 hours off, which was great. Did that. Also, that winter, I had done some skiing here in Pennsylvania before I went out. The Fort Lewis and our battalion had a winter training area called Ranger Creek up near Mount Rainier, up in the Snoqualmie Mountains. So we had to go up there and help set up communications between Fort Lewis and the base up at the mountains. And so while I'm up there, and I hope this again is what you're looking for, while I'm up there, they asked, can you ski? Is there anybody here who can ski? Well, I had skied here. Their trainers, their regular ski instructors had not arrived, and I said, well, I can teach a couple things. Anyway, so I guess for a couple of weeks, I actually been in between the teletype and communication work. I taught some skiing. Did that until May of 1950. And that's when our unit was scheduled to go to Alaska. We had a staff sergeant, Marine sergeant, who transferred over to the Army, and he kept telling us, he said, now, how many of you guys been out in the sea? Well, not many. He said, what I want you to do when you get out in the sea, when we get out, you're going to start to roll. And we went out through the Puget Sound, and I guess pretty soon we started to roll. And he had told us, he said, as soon as you feel this, get out on the deck. Walk, walk, walk. Get away from there. A number of us did that right away, and some of the other guys didn't. Well, we had, I would dare say, probably 60 to 70% of the battalion was sick. And I mean, it smelled terrible. They had gotten out, and those of us that got out and walked, we recovered in a matter of hours, because this rolling, it was really something like you'd never felt before. as soon as we got into the Pacific from the Puget Sound, which is near Seattle, ran out into the sea, immediately began to feel this rolling. And I thought right away, well, I've been out down at the shore, I've been out there. So I took his advice, we went out, and actually I ended up, because I was good, those of us that went out, we actually ended up having guard duty. Well, who we were going to guard against, but they had guard duty in different parts of the ship, which was nice to be out there because you're away from the smell. And actually the next morning, I was able to go in to have a full breakfast, and of course you had to really hold on to your stuff then. But that's the main thing I remember going up, and then I guess after a day or two, the trip was 4 days altogether to get up to Alaska. And from that, the second day on, and of course, as I mentioned, the first views of Alaska were magnificent. But that's what I remember particularly. I did not get sick, and everybody else did.